So welcome to part 2 of the body bushings. After deciding not to throw and kick and be upset anymore, I came back to my manual and I looked up in the body bushings basically what we have. So what we have here is the figure 2A-6 F&X series body mount bushing stuff. You can see this is the middle one, this is the rear one. Calls out a washer on the bottom for the X series only, so we're all good there. Washer over here on the back, so we have that, we're all good. And then if you look, this is the F series body mount for the front, the radiator support. And what's interesting about this, and you remember what I was talking about putting some washers in to kind of shim it up. If you look right there, shim as required. The other interesting thing is it's 35 foot-pounds on this as opposed to 45, which is what I was putting on, and then 85 in the back. And so what that says to me is that I'm not wrong. Step back for a moment. So one of the things that I was worried about, and one of the things I think I made a mistake with, is not putting pins in this mid. Let's see if I can get a picture. You see right down there, right there is a hole. There's a corresponding hole in the body just above it. And those are the alignment holes between the subframe and the body. And stupidly, I went back and read all the posts about how to do this, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but no, as usual, no. I should have put at least a socket or something in there to keep it aligned. My first thought was, well, I had a very out of alignment subframe, and that's what was causing this issue. If you look, and I very well still might have it. I may end up going and adjusting it just a little bit. I've got a little bit of a gap there, and then the gap on that side is not real consistent. But I'm thinking it has a lot to do with shimming these up front correctly. If you look up top, it's pretty consistent if you come down, but then it starts to open up at the bottom, and I think it will close up once I torque that front radiator bolt. This is the passenger side, so I don't think any shims are required here. Now if you come to this side, you've got a decent gap at the top, and then as you go down it gets really tight, and it stays tight all the way to the bottom. So I need a washer up there to bring this whole thing up. So that's one of the first things I'm going to try to sort this out and get it back in alignment. Now there were some other odd things that I have taken out on this side of the car that I hadn't noticed up until now. I'm working on sway bar mounts, and the sway bar bolts for this side are stripped out, and it wasn't correct. And what I also found is I found these in the springs. Spring spacer kind of to make the spring on this side stiffer than the one on that side. I don't know what all this has to do with anything, but it's just, you know, the joy of old cars when you don't know the history of them. So those are out now, so this may sit a little bit lower on this side. And maybe they did that because the body bushings were deteriorated and sitting lower. So instead of fixing that and the body bushings, they just put kind of quote shims into the springs. Maybe not, but we're working through it now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some shim, kind of jack that up a little bit, put a shim in there, and see how it sorts this gap out. And we'll bring you back. Okay guys, so I think I'm onto something here. I've got the jack with a block of wood underneath portion of the radiator support, and I've kind of just brought it up a little bit on this corner. And you can see, you can probably see it better that way. This gap is actually perfect. So I may go a little bit bigger with that. That way when I torque it down, it actually in person, if you look, it's actually a little wider than it needs to be at the bottom. Then at the top, it's a little tight there, but once I torque that down, it's just like the other side where it'll go like that just a bit, that it should close it a little bit and we should be good here. I'm not convinced that the subframe is not completely square right now, and the reason I think that is, where is it? This is the new bushing I put in and torqued down to, it was between 45 and 50 foot-pounds at first to get the bolt. Remember, the bolts were too short, so I had to sandwich it and then torque it just a little bit more. That was a mistake. And here's why. If you look at that bushing, you can kind of see it got a little out around right at the bottom. So it's not quite all happy-go-lucky. You can see, let's see if I can get a better angle. It may not quite line up exactly the way I want. It looks like the subframe might be a little bit too far forward, which just, leads to all kinds of other problems. I've also got some funkiness going on there right around that. Looks like there may have been some sort of washer or leftover debris there, like something rusted in place. So I'm gonna go clean that up as well, hit it with some OSPO. But I think for now this is going to work, unless I decide to do like a full restoration and I blow the entire front end off anyway. At that point I'll square the front end up, but right now this looks like it's going to be what I want. I've closed the hood with both configurations, and everything still, from a gap on here and over there, still looks good. It's a little wide at the front, but it's always been a little wide at the front. And then even with that corner jacked up a little bit, you see it's still a little tight up there. It's still a little open down there, which will remedy itself when I torque the front. So yeah, I think we're in good shape. I've got, and this is kind of stupid and anal, but I took some of the washers from the old bushings and cleaned all the old rubber off. See, these are nice, good clean bushings. And what I'll do is have these blasted, and then I'm gonna do some parkerizing of these and the bolts. I'm gonna put it together right now so I can get to work on some other stuff. And then when the parkerizing solution comes in, I'll take these back apart and recoat those bolts. Let's see, where did the bolts go? There it is right there. So you see I had it blasted and they're in good shape. I can reuse them. So I'll just re-parkerize them and put them back in. All right, we'll bring you back. Oh, I don't know if this is one more thing. I don't know if you can kind of see it there. See, there's a little high spot. This car's been out of whack for a little while because this is one of the old washers, and it's got a high spot. Like, they torqued the crap out of that bolt. Excuse me. To get it to fit in place, and they've actually bowed one of these big ass washers. So, yeah, that's a problem. Okay guys, well, the shims are in. This is the driver's side. Shims are in, and you can see it's better than it was. So this is closed. It's still very, very tight. It opens without issue. See, it kind of moves a little bit, but that's because I have the bottom released. This side over here is really, really good, but it's still pretty tight as well. Unfortunately, I don't know what it was. The bottom of the fender is undone as well on this this side. I can, oops, I got the mirrors and stuff in here. It's harder, I got the welder set up. So it opens and closes just fine. Cannot lift it. As soon as you put it on the lift and it moves, front sags, those gaps close up and the doors pinch. So that's not even an option anymore. So I'm really not sure if there's anything more I can do, or if that's just the nature of these cars, being the fact that it's, you know, apart from going to solid subframe bushings, which I absolutely do not want to do. I think I'm just gonna have to live with the fact that that sags enough to close that up until I get the gumption maybe to blow the front end apart and reset all these gaps. Sure won't be an issue. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think. I still have to, the bolts and the washers and the nuts for the radiator, 2 radiator supports are not, they're blasted and cleaned, but they are not Parkerized. So I still have to do that. So I'll order that. I did see I cleaned all that up, put a little bit of paint on it, put some Osmo. Yeah, so I torqued to 35 foot-pounds. Everything worked the way it's supposed to, but didn't really fix the gaps as I had hoped. All right, well, that's probably all for this unless I figure out some other solution or something else to try. Alright guys, well, sorry this video has been so delayed in coming out, but I had to wait for that stuff to arrive. This is the Caswell Black Oxide Concentrate to be able to treat parts. I got parts cleaning in here. And this is a TSP solution, a water rinse, and then a little bit of black oxide with distilled water mixed at 9-to-1. Just got this up at Amazon. I think it was about $70 plus shipping. You mix it 9-to-1 and then you drop it in there, and it's for about 5 minutes, and it's supposed to blacken it up. So that's what we're doing now. Mr. Cito pointed out something that I overlooked very stupidly. These washers. I thought they were deteriorated parts of the body bushings. In other words, I thought it was part of like that body bushing that had just deteriorated and the actual metal washer had popped out. But he smartly pointed out those are the shims that should have been in there. So we're going to get all this stuff. I got them blasted next door with a friend of mine. We're going to get all this hardware blackened and treated. Oh, after you blacken it, you rinse it, and then you put this stuff on it, penetrating seal. I'm sure it's just like an oil WD-40 type stuff, but yeah. So thank you for pointing that out. So we'll go back and we'll try and test fit things. We had the big washers in there, which are down on the bottom there. In the front, to bring this side up, that helped a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some shims in the back over there to tilt it that way a little bit more, and hopefully that gap works. I'm also thinking of putting one over there, because I think I went back and looked at the videos and there is one over there to help tilt that one just a little bit. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that, and we'll bring you back once everything is blackened and ready to put it in. Okay, so this is the result of the Caswell paint black oxide stuff. I'm not overly impressed. I think I may have to try double R restorations process of heating it and all that kind of stuff. I really didn't want to do that because I got to go buy a torch and all that kind of fun stuff. But it looks like a much better way, because what I did, and I think I got it in the other pot, was there was a rinse, a clean of TSP and water, where I cleaned the parts after they've been sandblasted. I then kind of rinsed them off in some clean water and then put them in the 9-to-1 solution of the black oxide stuff from Caswell. I think I showed this, but in case I didn't, black oxide concentrate. And I mean, they blackened right away. I let them sit in there 5 minutes. The nuts turned out real well. There's no issues with those. They look like they blackened real well. But the rest of this is just kind of a test piece I did just to see how it turns out. I mean, it's not bad. But these, you can tell, is already getting some like surface stress on there, and then the bolts are as well. So you take it out of the solution and you rinse it in water, and then you put it directly into let's see, this other stuff. I think I've covered this, but just in case, penetrating sealer. It's essentially just WD-40, it looks like. And then I let them sit there for a good long while, and then I just took them out and set them on here. So they are what they are. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think that's really bad. I mean, I'll hit that with some. There'll be some. Not Loctite, but anti-seize. Sorry, lost for words there. On there to be able to lube things up and kind of keep them smooth. Yeah. So all right, let's get these. We're gonna put these shims in. These were the two shims that were in the driver's side radiator to raise that up. I think these two are I'm gonna put these two on the driver's side rear, and then these two on the passenger side rear. So yeah, we'll get that in. We'll see how it does with the door gaps. Okay guys, so body bushings. Doors closed just fine. I've got two of the 4 shims that came out originally on this side, and 2 of the 4 shims on the passenger side. And the normal, the 2 washers that I had built up front here. Doesn't seem to be changing things all that much. Still got roughly the same gaps. I had high hopes that would change it more than that. But it didn't. Still can't lift it without the doors open. The gaps just don't want to open up any more than they are, so it works when it's on the ground. I'm just going to have to open the doors, and I mean, it stays on the ground most of the time, except when I need to get that car out. I raise it up and then back the car and put it back down. But for now, that's it. Hope you all have a happy 4th of July. God bless those that were serving. Thank you for those who have served. We appreciate your service. Thank you to all the policemen and firemen. God bless America. I hope you guys are doing well.